So this time we are going to go ahead and discuss about digital profession. All right, now our big dream in Refocus is to give every person an opportunity to build a great sustainable career, and that career is focused in data analytics or digital marketing. How would you define digital profession or skills? Or maybe I think I'm gonna rephrase it. What comes into your mind when you hear the word or the phrase digital profession? When it comes to digital profession, basically the gist or the idea there is that digital jobs are created through the application of information and communication technologies. So what are these and communication technologies? These are tools that are intangible. Meaning to say, you can see them, but you cannot touch them. You cannot smell them. You cannot taste them, right? Because these are intangible products. These are intangible tools. For example, computer. If the best example that I can share with you firsthand is analyzing data. So when you're analyzing data just like this, for example, this is intangible stuff, right? You can see it, but you cannot smell it. You cannot touch it. You cannot taste it, but you can see it. So these are intangible tools that we're doing with digital marketing, right? Digital jobs has something to do with information and communication technologies. It has something to do with AI. It has something to do with computers. It has something to do with internet, right? If your job is related to that, most likely your job is a digital professional job. Now, digital profession or digital jobs and skills can be distinguished from other jobs such as manufacturing because the core product of a digital job is information and knowledge, right? These are something intangible. This can be transferred by either electronically or by knowledge transfer, as what we're doing right now, transferring what I've learned to things that you already maybe know or things that you have not known yet, as opposed to physical objects or services such as haircut or a meal. So for example, or watch, for example, or watch, right? So this watch is tangible, and this is an example or an end product of a manufacturing. So manufacturing this watch, after the end product is tangible. I can touch it, I can smell it, I can see it, I can taste it if I like, but with the digital profession, that's the total opposite of it, right? Speaking of digital profession here in the Philippines, as what I mentioned earlier when we started, the main reason why we are offering digital profession in the Philippines right now because we're trying to bridge the gap between the demand and the workforce here in the Philippines. There is a lot of demand when it comes to digital profession, but there are only a few Filipinos who knows about digital profession, right? So we are trying to bridge the gap. We are trying to create a shortcut for that. So in the coming years, according to Microsoft Data Science in LinkedIn, they said by 2025, there will be approximately 190 million jobs when it comes to digital profession, including digital marketing, social media management, data analytics, data science, web development, and stuff like that, right? So there's an increase, and the increase is actually constantly growing from 2022 until 2025. And that's the reason why I myself, I am not a graduate of IT, to be honest with you, but I am trying myself to kept abreast and in trend when it comes to like the demands right now in the market. And I hope you will do the same. So right now in the country, we are seeing a huge growth when it comes to data analytics. I mean, to data, or sorry, to digital profession. That's the reason why we're doing this. That's the reason why we're offering this course to our customer. And when it comes to digital profession, usually it has something to do with digital marketing, and that is what exactly we're offering when we started here in the Philippines. And then data analytics, and that is what exactly you will be selling to your customers. And then project management is also another example of a career in digital profession. IT and recruitment, web and UX design, software development, quality assurance, and there are a lot more. And to be honest with you, these are the courses that we will be launching in the future. Right now, since we just started here in the country, we have digital marketing and data analytics. And hopefully, before the year ends, we'll be able to launch another course, web and UX design. Who knows? But these are the plans that we have for the year. Now let's move on. Digital professions provide great opportunities. Number one, it will not go out of demand because we are living in a digital world. So obviously we need a digital profession. Number two, digital profession offers great salary because of talent shortage. I think I already mentioned it earlier. There is a huge demand for data or so digital professions or work, and there are only a few people who are trained with digital professions. So that supply and demand. There's a huge demand and there's a shortage of supply. So tendency is you have to rack up the salary, the offer. So a lot of people will be enticed, to join your company, right? Allowed to work remotely from any part of the world. This is a really good example. When I went to Bali last time, so I was staying in a hotel, and then that hotel is a restaurant next to the beach, and they're like Caucasian foreigners. And then next to the beach, they're like doing some stuff like answering emails, doing some like digital marketing stuff. And then they have their one hour break. During their 1 hour break, they go to the beach, sunbathing. Then some of them are like surfing, and then after 1 hour, they just put on their towel and then continue working on with their job. Right? You can also do that, by the way, in your current situation right now as a sales specialist. Just make sure that there's no background noise if you're next to the beach, right? If you're working next to the beach, for example, as a sales specialist, make sure you're connected to the internet. No background noise at all. Otherwise, your customer might think that you're bogus. Your customer might think, okay, I'm hearing a lot of uh, dog barking. There are a lot of rooster in the morning calling your customer and stuff. Your customers sometimes, well, especially your customers are Filipino customers. And trust me, we have a lot of trust issues here. When you ride an LRT, everything will be x-rayed, but not in Japan. When you go to Japan, just enter the train station and enter the train, and that's it. You're done. When I went to New Zealand one time, we were X-rayed 3 times in the airport in NAIA Terminal 1. So you're X-rayed before you check in. You'll be X-rayed at the pre-departure area, and you will be X-rayed the third time before you board the plane. How crazy is that, right? We have a lot of trust issues here in the Philippines. But if you're flying from a different country, you will only undergo one X-ray. Like in Australia, for example, that's it. One X-ray is done, right? So going back, um, it will allow you to work remotely from any part of the world. And I just want to piggyback on this idea to please make sure there's no background noise whenever you speak with your customer. Otherwise, your customer might like tag you as fraud, might think that you are bogus, right? So make sure that you have a silent workstation, and then offer interesting and challenging tasks. This is a really good thing about digital profession, because every day is a challenging day. Today it's like it's like Project Runway. Today you're in, tomorrow you're out. In a sense that today you'll be working with designs about Procter and Gamble. Tomorrow you'll be working data analytics for Unilever, something like that, right? And what's crazy about digital profession is there are a lot of them. I'm gonna show you some. I created an account in onlinejobs.ph so that I can show you the job boards. Don't mind the picture and all the details that you have seen have. Those are okay. So let's go ahead and click browse all posts. These are currently the course, the freelancing job that is available in onlinejobs.ph. See that? Developer, IT developer, home base, 200,000. How crazy is that? Right? Architectural 3D modeler, digital marketing specialist, 200 pesos per hour. Right? And this is a part-time, I guess. This is a part-time, right? Yeah, this is a part-time. Digital marketing coordinator, 40K. And this is also a freelancing job, right? So these are just example of the jobs that our customers can end up after they complete their course with us. So they can have a full-time job, and at the same time they can work for freelancing job in this website, onlinejobs.ph, right? Okay, let's move on. Ah, there we go. So when you say data analytics, what we usually do is we collect, clean, and interpret data sets in order to discover useful information and support decision making to achieve business goals. And I think that is what exactly I've shown you earlier, right? So you are presented with this data, and your job is basically to analyze the data, interpret it, and clean it. And you said, Reimer, you said cleaning the data. How are you supposed to clean the data? Okay, let's take a look at this one, right? In column F, you are supposed to provide there the link of a certain website, like it says here, refocus.amosera. But take a look at this one. This is an incorrect link, and this is where it says collects and cleans. So you have to clean the data that is assigned to you. So what you need to do is you have to clean this one. You have to remove the first two numbers in there, and voila, it's now clean. So that's one way of cleaning your data, right? So data analytics cleans, collect, and interpret the data sets in order to discover useful information. So yeah, after you clean and analyze the data, you have to interpret it using dashboard. This is an example of a dashboard. And there are a lot of like figures or graphs that is easier to understand. If you are the stakeholder of the company, for example, you can just simply go ahead and take a look at the graph, and you will know right away that, okay, so these are the performance of my team for the month of July, for the month of June, and so forth. Okay. So what is the work of that data analyst actually? Well, there are 5 basic steps. Number 1, determining the objective. So in order for you to find out, in order for you to execute your project, you have to set objective first, right? Because if you are going to go ahead and do something without direction, you will end up nowhere. So you have to set proper objective. So what will be your task? And what will be the reason why you are setting up projects like this? Number 2, you're going to gather the data. How are you supposed to gather the data? Well, that depends. You can either run a survey, you can either gather data from government agencies, you can either send questionnaires, all right? Those are just example of it. Number 3, cleaning the data. I think I already shown you earlier how to clean the data. So in a certain data set, there are like maybe 40% possibility that there are data that are inaccurate, and your job is to clean that data. Your job is basically to figure out what's going on with this data. Okay. And step 4, interpret the data. Okay, so all right, I figure out that there's a trend here, right? So after you figure out that there's a trend, you are going to go ahead and convert it into a graph. And then once you have the graph, once you have it simplified into a maybe histograph, pictograph, fishbone graph, there are a lot of graphs you can try. You have to share it, step 5, share it with the stakeholders. And the stakeholders will be the one to decide as to what to do next, right? For example, you are Unilever. Currently, there are 4 variants with Safeguard, right? So Safeguard White, Safeguard Lemon, Safeguard Pink, and Safeguard Blue. So what's the missing color there? Safeguard Red. There is no Safeguard Red yet, okay? So what if we are gonna launch Safeguard Red? Is it viable? Can we go ahead and move on with Safeguard Red? Do you think customers would like it? So before you launch Safeguard Red, you have to undergo some sort of data analysis. Remember, companies right now, not just in the Philippines, but pretty much all the companies right now internationally are data driven, meaning to say, before they are taking steps, they are basing all their decisions with the data. They are basing their decisions on the uh, data set that's presented to them, right? So it's in demand. So data analysts can work in many industries like IT, finance, science, medicine, as well as government. So in government, for example, when we have our free LRT ride, right? And then people were like, no, LRT ride should be extended until July. And the government was like, no, that's not possible. We already gave you a free MRT ride last May and June. It's not possible for us to extend it until July. Before they say it's not possible for us to extend until July, they do data analysis, right? And that is where your job or the job of your customers will end up. They have to analyze data that, all right, Mr. Government, it's not possible for us to extend the free MRT ride. Otherwise, we'll go bankrupt, right? Uh, these are the types of questions that analysts might answer on a daily basis. For example, what kind of customer should a business target in its next campaign? What age group is most vulnerable in a particular disease like COVID-19? Are those kids who are like less than 10 years old vulnerable for COVID-19? Do you have the data to support that? Right? What patterns in behavior are connected to financial fraud? Who are those people committing fraud? What are their job? Do they have job? Something like that, right? Now let's move on to the career path of a data analyst. For a data analyst, for like 1 year, you will be called a junior analyst. So our students, right after they graduated from us, we are gonna call them a junior analyst because they are fresh graduates, right? And junior analysts will earn approximately 30 to 40,000 pesos. Once they have 2 to 3 years of experience, we will be calling them middle analysts, meaning to say they are virtually new to the industry, but they have years of experience. And those who are middle analysts are earning around 40 to 50, 50, 60,000 pesos, to be honest with you. And they can move on to either become a team lead or venture out to a specific industry like finance, like business, like marketing, like data, for example. And then once they have 6 years of data analytics course, they can earn as much as 200 to like 300 pesos, depending on their skills and then their experience. Sellers for data analysts, those who are like middle analysts are earning around like 60,000 pesos. And for those who are like experienced, they're earning around 120,000 pesos per month, which is crazy, crazy amazing. And the demand for data analysts is skyrocketing, not just here in the Philippines, but abroad as well. I think there are also a lot of people who are hiring data analysts from New Zealand, Australia. If you don't want to work in a graveyard, for example, so you can have Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, or Hong Kong, for example, there are like customers from those countries, and they will let you work on a day shift, meaning our day shift. And then there's also countries from US if you like, but you'll be working most likely graveyard, but it's up to you. All right. And there are 2,000 companies, more than 2,000 companies across the globe who are offering data analytics job according to Job Street, not to mention the Upwork.com, onlinejobs.ph, and stuff like that. Now, to become a data analyst, you need to have a skill set, and this is what we are teaching our customers. Number one, they must have knowledge about Microsoft Excel. And I'm pretty sure you have idea what Microsoft Excel is, right? In high school, in college, you are taught of that. So we are going to teach our students as well on how to use Microsoft Excel. Number two, we are also going to teach our customer SQL. SQL is similar to Microsoft Excel, but fancier. Fancier and for me easier to use, but I'm into an Excel guy. I usually use Microsoft Excel instead of SQL. Python, right? Python looks like this. We are going to teach our students simple programming when it comes to Python. The first, as far as I still remember, the first lesson that I took with Python is creating a 1+1, 1+1, 1+2 uh, table. Like there's additional table, subtraction table, and multiplication table. So that's gonna be your first task if you will be taking Python classes. And then Power BI. So Power BI, remember the graphs that I've shown you earlier? So those graphs are usually from Power BI. So if you would like to create a fantastic, fabulous, and amazing graphs or presentation to your employer or to your stakeholder, you can go ahead and use Power BI. And this is how it looks like. So the graphs that I've shown you earlier, I usually use Power BI to make a fantastic graphs, right? So that is Power BI. We also gonna teach our students on how to improve their knowledge about statistics. So we're gonna teach them how to use mean, median, mode. So mean is the average, median is the middle number, mode is the frequency of the most commonly used number. So we're gonna tell them basic statistics. Problem solving, we are gonna help them improve their problem solving skills and of course industry knowledge. So during the last month of their stay with us, we are going to teach them ideas about the possible industry that they will end up to. For example, if they are into pharmaceuticals, for example, then we are going to teach them what will be the question that might be asked during the interview process about pharmaceutical. So we're going to provide them some sort of like bird's eye view of the industry that they can apply in the future. So there, we're going to teach them Microsoft Excel, SQL, Python, and Power BI.